The Talk.
The Talk, featuring Kyle and Robbie. On a couch
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? We're on a couch talking sports here.
Yeah. So what are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about hockey.
Hockey?
Hockey.
What about what about baseball?
I don't know about the football.
About some soccer?
Basketball.
About some hockey?
We're going to talk about parking.
Oh wait, you said hockey.
We're going to talk about parking the car in Harvard Yard and going down to the river. The Charles River. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I am Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, hard night, buddy.
Doing okay. A little tired. I might stumble on a lot of words tonight, guys, just to warn you. So, but other than that, I'm okay.
Words are hard.
They are hard.
That's what I have to say about that. Words are hard, so yeah. I don't blame you. I may stumble upon words as well tonight. You know, it's bound to happen. So
yeah, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
At least at the time of recording.
It's Taco Tuesday, even though we didn't have tacos tonight.
No, definitely not.
No. Anyway, so it is a new episode of On a Couch Talking Sports, and before we get into that new episode, just wanted to take this opportunity to give a quick shout out to our lovely sponsors, Diamond Organizing and Wes Woodson, and thank them as always for their support of our show. And Screen Time with Doug and Kyle, another great show, and also the Sports Blitz with Doug and I. New episode out within the last week. Finally, Doug and I decided to get off our asses and actually do a new episode. So definitely check that out. But yeah. Shout out Diamond Organizing and Wes Woodson. Thank you. And links will be in the description. So, about a week and a half ago, Kyle and I went to yet another sporting event, which seems to be a pattern here recently. We always seem to end up at sporting events, and then we come back on here and we talk about them. So, it's a good sort of a method there to our madness. But anyway, about a week ago, Sunday, Kyle and I went to the state semifinals for high school boys hockey here in Massachusetts, where we live. It was a game that was hosted at Loring Arena, which is located in the beautiful city of Framingham, Massachusetts. And the game featured Hopkinton High School versus Walpole High School. And it was the Division II state semifinals, and to the winner would go a trip to TD Garden for the state finals, which took place actually 2 days ago, this past Sunday. It was a very exciting game, I would say, even though the final score would not indicate that, as Hopkinton did come out on top. 5-1 was the final. Hopkinton scored 4 goals in the second period to sort of pull away there. It was pretty wild, but it was definitely a state semifinal atmosphere. The place was full to rafters, probably the fullest rink that I've seen in a long time watching high school hockey. I mean, Kyle and I were literally up against a wall watching the game, peering over 20 wild people to try to see the game, which was pretty wild. But yeah, Kyle, let me ask you, just overall experience-wise and all that, your thoughts on another Robbie and Kyle sporting event. Just give us your thoughts.
I mean, it was definitely an interesting rink. One of the older rinks looked like to me. I mean, I don't really know when that rink was made, but yeah, definitely definitely very interesting space-wise. Like, I've never really seen a rink that has kind of like that sort of upper, almost like a balcony kind of thing.
Yes.
That we were on. So that was actually pretty interesting. It was pretty cool. But yeah, no, the game itself was it was a very yeah, pretty epic. Kind of blowout in a way, like you said.
Like it was a like obviously score wise it was a bit lopsided, but still like action wise it was pretty exciting. I feel.
Oh
like.
yeah, I mean definitely. Definitely, the game itself was, especially in the beginning, I would say, like it was kind. I think it wasn't until like the second period,
yeah,
or so that it became a kind of a little more on the side of a blowout. But the first period was pretty evenly matched, and for a while, I wasn't sure who was really going to win. It just seemed like both teams were really neck and neck for quite a while. They both did put in a lot of effort for that game, but it just so happens that. Yeah.
Well, it was interesting, after the game, again, it was kind of tough to tell, like, at the game in the moment, but I came to find out subsequently that all 4 goals from Hopkinton in that second period were scored by the same player. So, obviously, he had a big offensive outburst there. Because, like I was saying, it was a 1-1 game at the end of the first period. It was, like, very back and forth. Like Walpole scored first, then Hopkinton scored, and you're like, it was shaping up to be like one of those games where like, yeah, again, it just comes right down the wire. But then, like I said, Hopkinton kind of took control there and made the most of their opportunities in the second period and got the job done. And kudos to them. But what I wanted to ask you about, Kyle, was the crowd. I mean, we always talk about when we go to these games, the crowd, the atmosphere, and that crowd was just like jam-packed in there. The student sections were like completely packed. Full. They were loud. I mean, just give us your take on that part of the experience.
I mean, you really felt the energy in the whole stadium. Like it was really cool. You could tell like it was definitely one of the big games. Like everyone was there. And I thought it was interesting too because I kept thinking, it was funny. I actually kept thinking that I was like, oh, they versed Framingham. I kept thinking one of the teams was Framingham for some reason for a while.
Well, we were in Framingham
because that was and that's what it was because it took place in Framingham. I'm like, oh yeah, there's there. But
no, it was Walpole and Hopkinton.
It was Walpole, obviously. No, it's just actually it was you could really feel the energy there. And yeah, it was just kind of nice that people showed up and people were really invested in this game. So yeah,
like I said, the students especially, like Hopkinton, we could kind of see Hopkinton's student section because they were like directly across the ice from us, and Walpole's, even though they were kind of off to the side, you could definitely like hear them. They definitely, especially in that first period, were making themselves very well heard. I mean, the second period, once they kind of got down, they got a little quieter. But
yeah. Especially by the end of the game, like I felt bad for Walpole. They were silent. They were just like
But yeah, I mean, and just like the rink in general is very nice rink. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of like on the older side. I mean, I think it's been around for quite a number of years now, but it's a very nice rink. Pretty easy to get to. Parking wise, it's a little bit tough. Like we had to kind of park in like the very other end of like the second parking lot because
it has a weird lot. Like it's just the way you get in. Like it's not exactly 100% clear where the entrance is. Like I think there's like a couple different entrances, but then there's like a couple different sections of the lot. So you kind of have to follow the road, and like there's like a big section in the way back. Feels like you're driving on it for miles, even though it's like a freaking parking lot. It's like
it's interesting. It's worth pointing out that actually the rink itself is right next to a high school, Keefe Tech High School.
Oh, that's why. I think those two kind of blend together.
Yeah, and so like a lot of people use. Obviously, they use both.
That explains it.
The actual rink lot, which is kind of out front of the rink, and then also the high school parking lot, which is like right next door for rink parking for games. So it's quite expensive. We like I said, by the time we got there, I mean, we obviously made it for the start of the game, but we kind of got there like right at the start of the game, and so we, like I said, we had to kind of pull ourselves into like the very end. Like luckily there were some spaces like at the very other end of the parking lot, so it was kind of
that was nice. It does give you options. So even if there is like a packed game, like you never feel like you're out of space for parking, which is good.
So, it was pretty easy to get out actually afterwards from where we parked because we just kind of pulled straight out.
True. They did that kind of entrance that was like all the way in the other end. There's like a couple different ways you can get out of the parking lot, which is you're right. Like it was
very nice. But no, it was a great time. as always, and glad that we, like I said, got to take in another sporting event because always a good time. And just a quick sort of sort of follow up. Hopkinton did go on, like I said, to the state finals on Sunday, like 2 days ago when we're recording this. Unfortunately, they did lose in the state finals. They lost to Canton High School 4-1.
Wow.
But still, big shout out to Hopkinton on quite a run. Again, anytime you make it to the state finals, it's a big thing. So big congratulations to them. But yeah, that's sort of all I got on the overall experience. You got anything else you want to throw in there?
No, I think we summed up pretty well. So
good. Yeah. So yeah, definitely another fun-filled sporting event experience for Robbie and Kyle, and definitely there'll be, as always, more of those to come in the future for us. So we are going to now move on to the end portion of our episodes, or the second half that we always like to do here. And I'm actually going to start off by turning it over to Kyle for tonight's edition of the good old Souz reviews. So please take it away.
All right, so I actually literally just the other night had finished this show I've been watching on Apple TV Plus called Servant, and I think I forgot, maybe I did talk about it a little bit. I may have talked about one of the other seasons, but it's a 4-season show. Came out back in like 2019. Literally, it was actually one of the first shows that kind of launched the platform itself. So Apple TV, I'll just say this really quick, is a really great streaming service. I think it's actually one of the best ones out there because pretty much all their content is original. Like, you got shows like Ted Lasso, you got Severance, like, just all their shows are very unique, and like you really can't find them anywhere else. And it's kind of refreshing to watch stuff that's not based on, like, comic books and previously existing movies and other shows and stuff like that. Like, it's very original, and I really appreciate that. And having said that, Servant is a very just original show. It's kind of it's got a very unique take on kind of like horror. It's got some very creepy moments without being very in your face about it, and that's what I really like about this show. So basically, the show's about this couple who had lost their child, their baby, their infant son, and basically what happens is they hire this nanny, and which I know you're thinking like, wait, why are they hiring a nanny if they had lost their child? So the wife had kind of gone crazy, and after all those events, and she has like one of those kind of fake silicone baby dolls, and they hire a nanny to take care of this fake silicone baby doll. Which is such a weird setup. I know you're thinking like, what the hell is going on with this show? But let me tell you, it is a really, really fascinating, very creepy, and it just continually ramps up as the show goes on. And for most of the series, like, you really don't know everything that's going on. And that's kind of the brilliance of the show too. It doesn't really explain everything to you. It shows you stuff, and you kind of have to fill in the blanks, and I really like it for that. The directing is fantastic. Like, it's actually made by M. Night Shyamalan, which I know you're thinking, oh, you mean the guy who made The Happening and some of those really bad movies. But just remember too, he also made like some really good ones, like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. I think he's a really good director when he has the right story, when he has kind of the right content that he's making. And it's just a really unique show, and most of the show actually takes place in the couple's apartment, essentially, and the apartment itself is almost a character. That's how, like, it's very centered around that. There's no, like, it's not really a huge budget show, like, to begin with. It's very kind of grounded, and it just kind of introduces new things as you're watching it, and it keeps it very just like very tense, and you're just the whole time you're creeped out. You don't know what's going on, and it's just the whole mystery. That's what really sucks you in. And if you're looking for kind of a good mystery with like some horror elements, I really recommend that show. It's fantastic. And that, I don't want to tell too much more about the story because it's one of those you just have to watch. It's brilliant. Like I loved it from beginning to end. I thought it really ended on a really really great note. Because they literally just aired the series finale. I think it was like last Friday. So just check it out if you're looking for new shows. If you're kind of tired of watching like superheroes and this and that. That's kind of been like done to death in media. Definitely check that out. It's a breath of fresh air. Just really good. Nails it.
Very good. Thank you, Kyle, for serving up that.
Oh, woo! Good one.
Sorry, I could not resist. But no, thank you for that lovely review as always. Very well done. So now it is time for my final thought, which is not going to be as punny as that last comment was. But for those of you who don't know, and I don't know why you're watching this show if you don't know this, but right now March Madness is going on. The NCAA men's and women's, for that matter, basketball tournaments are currently...
But I'm not mad, Robbie.
How about now?
Slightly irritated, but
okay.
I wouldn't say mad or anything like that. So.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't even know where I was going with that, but anyway.
I just completely derailed Robbie's thing. Anyway,
it's okay.
Keep going,
it's okay. It's all good. Anyway, yeah, March Madness is going on. Obviously, I'm sure unless you've been living under a rock or on another planet, you probably know that already, especially if you're watching the show. And March Madness this year is definitely living up to its name. There have been some of the wackiest results that I can remember, these games. Just the first two rounds this weekend was just absolutely wild. I mean, you had upsets left and right. You had just teams that you never would have thought would win a game, winning 2 games, and now we're on to the Sweet 16. It's like the Princeton Tigers, the number 15 seed in their region, are now going to the round of 16, the Sweet 16. How does that happen? That's crazy talk. 2 number 1 seeds are already done, including my national championship pick, Kansas.
Wow.
Yes, my bracket was officially busted on day 2 of the tournament. Oh. I literally have lost 3 of my final 4 picks. If Miami will somehow survive the next 2 rounds, so I can at least have 1. Yeah, it's been a crazy tournament so far, but you know what? It's been really exciting and just a lot of, and it always is. This time of year, that's why they call it March Madness. It's just it's a fun time of year with so many exciting games, all these twists and turns and all these. It's madness. That's basically the best way to describe it. And so I want to just congratulate all the teams that have made it through to the Sweet 16, which will be taking place this coming weekend, and officially proclaim that I am jumping on the Princeton bandwagon because I do actually. It's not as random as you think. I do have familial connections to Princeton, so I kind of was pulling for them a little bit anyway, but especially now that they have just gone on this Cinderella run and are heading full steam ahead into the Sweet 16. I definitely would love to see them take it even further. That'd be pretty amazing. But shout out to Kansas, because my national championship pick, for just blowing a double-digit lead against Arkansas in the second round and then just losing, and I don't really want to talk about that any further. But yeah, it's a good time. It's been a fun tournament so far, so you haven't gotten a chance. Starting again on Thursday will be the next rounds of March Madness. So definitely check that out, and best of luck to all the teams moving forward. So that's all I got for my final thought. Kyle doesn't follow college basketball, so
nope.
I don't think he has anything to add to this. I'm not even going to ask. But anyway, I do actually one more thing I have to say, and your sweatshirt kind of reminded me of it. It has nothing to do with Providence basketball. You know, they were in the tournament, but unfortunately lost in the first round. But Providence College Hockey actually made it to the semifinals of their conference tournament, and unfortunately they lost in overtime to BU in the semifinal. But just with Kyle wearing that sweatshirt, I'd be remiss if I didn't give them a quick shout out because I was watching the game.
I mean, their hockey is pretty solid.
So, yeah, they always are. They're always like big time competitive, like right in there. Which is great. So, but anyway, like I said, that's all I got for tonight's final thoughts. So that is going to round out this episode of On a Couch Talking Sports. Again, want to thank Zyman Organizing, Wes Woodson, and also want to shout out our other two shows that Kyle and I are a part of. Screen Time with Doug and Kyle, and the Sports Blitz. Yeah, I almost said more about the movies. Don't sue me.
That was our old IP.
Yeah. What?
I was like, that was our old channel.
Yes, I know, yeah. Old habits die
old
hard.
News.
Old habits die hard. But yeah, Screen Time with Doug and Kyle and the Sports Blitz with Doug and I. Definitely please check those out as always. We appreciate the support and appreciate the support on this show as well. You know, again, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment, follow us here on YouTube. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We definitely, as always, appreciate your guys' support. And until next time, we're going to sign off from the couch here. That's Kyle. I'm Robbie. Like I said, this is the couch. And until next time, we will see you on a Couch Talking Sports. Thanks for tuning in and have a great night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.